You see Donald Trump's latest endorsement?
I just want to say, I grew up a Democrat, and I've always been a Democrat until I met this man right here. I'll tell you what.
That is Lawrence Taylor. If you have no idea who Lawrence Taylor is, he is one of, if not the greatest linebackers in NFL history. And speaking of history.
Breaking news right here on MSNBC about the man on your screen. The Hall of Fame New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor has been arrested. We have now learned that he was arrested on rape charges.
Today, Lawrence Taylor left a courtroom after pleading guilty to having sex with an underage prostitute. He's now a registered sex offender, will spend 6 years on probation, but he won't spend any time in jail. She was 16. She claims he should have known it.
He wants to put this behind him. Yes, he did have sexual contact with a woman who he paid to do that with. And he later found out, and he said it in court, she told him he was 19, she was 19 years old. He later found out that wasn't true.
Outside of football, it's been trouble for Taylor. So look, quite the endorsement.
He will not have to worry about nobody in my family ever vote for a Democrat again. Okay.
Let's break down their relationship because it's vital to understand how they have remained so close and probably why Taylor did this.
Check us out, the USFL.
Recall a previous piece we did on the United States Football League.
Trump's ownership of the New Jersey Generals.
Everything that we touched in this city has in fact really worked out, and outside of the city has really worked out.
And how Trump did his usual song and dance, playing up the league. Jeff Pearlman would author Football for a Buck, which recapped the rise and fall of the USFL.
He bought the Generals. They were on sale for $8.5 million. He paid $10 million because he thought there was a bidding war that didn't exist.
In addition, he would dish on how Donald Trump ran this venture straight into the ground.
He gets the Generals. We need to move to fall. We have to move to fall. We need to take on the NFL. Immediately.
Trump would then call a meeting with NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle while he was the owner of the USFL's New Jersey Generals, and it didn't go well for Donald Trump.
In this meeting, he says to Rozelle, I don't care about the USFL. You tell me what I have to do to get an NFL franchise. And Pete Rozelle says to him, as long as I am with the NFL, as long as my heirs are with the NFL, you will never have a team in this league. Because he saw him for what he considered him to be, a con man.
He would sue the NFL for having a monopoly, and
In antitrust cases, that's trebled, so that's $3. Add interest, that's $3.76.
now prior to Donald Trump single-handedly destroying the league, he did this.
Donald Trump accused of once pretending to be his own media spokesperson.
Okay, what's your first name, John? Most of the assets have been consolidated to Mr. Trump.
He pretended to be someone else in order to grab media attention through a fake name. And that name was John Barron. It was all to make Trump seem bright and intelligent and having a really savvy business sense. The thing is, it failed. There was also a time when Trump, in his 30s, would throw massive contracts to the likes of Doug Flutie and Herschel Walker, to name a few. Walker, super supportive of Trump for the years, ran for Senate in the state of Georgia. He would lose. By the way, he doesn't live in Georgia, he lives in Texas. Doug Flutie has been a mainstay at many Trump events as well, participating and going to Mar-a-Lago, yada, yada. Fun fact as well, Donald Trump launched a charm offensive on Flutie and his father, and his deep pockets meant he had no problem giving Flutie the reasonably ridiculous contract he had promised, which was $8.3 million over 6 years, according to the Times, making him the highest paid football player in the country. That's via Mother Jones. Less than 2 months later, in April of 1985, Trump was demanding that other owners with the USFL help pay for parts of Doug Flutie's contract. Quote, when a guy goes out and spends more money than a player is worth, he expects to get partial reimbursement from the other owners, Trump told United Press International. As John Barron one of the fake underlings Trump invented to talk to the press. He would go on to say, everybody asked Trump to go out and sign Flutie for the good of the league. Obviously, it didn't work. And obviously, it was discovered that Donald Trump was praising Donald Trump. Here's where Lawrence Taylor comes in. Follow along. Identifying himself as the publicist for the team. This was Trump again. Trump, or Barron, called tons of newspapers in the state of New York to inform the mass media that Lawrence Taylor is currently negotiating a contract to jump ship from the Giants to the Generals. The New York Times would then follow in January of 1974 with this report. Lawrence Taylor, ending his silence on a tangled web of negotiations, said today the reason he had made a deal giving the Generals an option on his future services was for the security of $1 million loan from Donald Trump, the owner of the team. Taylor accepted the loan as part of a deal obligating him to play for the Generals once his contract with the G-Men would run out, and that was in 1988. Mike Trope, Lawrence Taylor's agent, completed separate negotiations with the Generals and the Giants that enabled LT to buy back the option. At the same time, his contract with the Giants was extended through the 89 season and upgraded considerably. So to put a bow on this, and to be very, very clear of what just transpired, Taylor had refused to comment on the dealings that began when he received the loan from Donald Trump. In exchange, Trump received a 4-year option on Taylor's playing services to begin in 88. The Giants then offered to renegotiate Taylor's contract, but only if he could get out of the deal with Trump. Thus, the linebacker had struck a secret deal with Trump, making a $1 million interest-free loan in exchange for agreeing to join the Generals when his contract ran out. But after the Giants extended and upgraded, that's the key, upgraded his deal, he had to repay the $1 million. The interest he'd collected on it, and $750,000 more on top to Trump to agree to return to Taylor's option with the Giants. Trump viewed this as a win for a few different reasons. Number one, he basically swindled about $750,000. Second, he kept his name in the public eye. And many perceived it as, oh my God, he's making so many deals. Oh my God, how outrageous. It's so incredible. Yet I go back to this. LT is going to give him the endorsement because in a way, Donald Trump helped LT get more money and get extended with the New York Giants. They both benefited off of each other's services. And that is why you are seeing LT now repay in the form of an endorsement at a MAGA rally. If you can, please do support us here at TYT Sports. Become a channel member. Go to youtube.com/TYT Sports and click the join button, or go to TYT.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate all the love.